Will robots take our jobs? Will AI outperform humanity? These are two of the questions of our generation, but some experts think that they're the wrong ones, that we should instead be focusing on how better to augment us, what we can do to help us live better, healthier, more fulfilling lives, and leave us to do the bits that are a bit more human. And this attempt to turn us superhuman will come in many forms. Robots.
Wow.
Exoskeletons.
I can't keep up with myself.
You're going to have to run. Brain-computer interfaces.
The day that it connected, it still brings tears.
Even in planning our very existence. In this lab, scientists have one hope: to help people who never thought they'd be able to have a family to do so. Infertility affects 1 in 6 people worldwide. The go-to route for many couples struggling to conceive is in vitro fertilization, or IVF, where egg and sperm are usually combined manually to try to create an embryo. Scientists here at Columbia University Fertility Center are automating parts of that process, though.
What we're doing here at Columbia is developing technologies that could really advance reproductive medicine to give that extra few % chance to every single patient that they could go on to have a successful pregnancy.
Those few % really are the difference between conceiving or not. And considering average sperm count worldwide has halved since the 1970s, it's perhaps little surprise that insufficient sperm can be a substantial cause of infertility. The STAR system aims to address the problem by searching for sperm in semen samples from patients who are thought to have none.
You can do extended search, meaning spending 8-10 hours looking one drop at a time. What this system is doing is automating the whole thing.
It takes over 8 million images an hour using AI to scan the samples. It can pinpoint a single sperm which may have gone undetected in a previous search.
It just takes 1 to 2 hours to go through the whole sample, scans it, and the AI finds if there's a sperm or not.
What are we looking at here on the screen now?
So we're looking at the sample passing through the microfluidic channel. Most of it is debris. If it finds a sperm, it sorts it for the IVF process. And once the run is completed, we take all the sorted sperms on the droplet and hand it over to the embryology lab.
There you're seeing a difference between essentially a 0% chance of having a child to, well over 70, 80, 90% chance. To take a patient who's told, I'm sorry, you'll never be able to have a biologic child, to be able to give them that possibility is tremendous.
Once that precious sperm is captured, it's united with an egg to create an embryo. And that happens here, where eggs are brought after being surgically removed from a prospective mother.
Once the eggs are prepared for fertilization, then they're brought to a very specialized micromanipulation station. In the case of men who have these exceedingly low sperm counts, like the men who have the STAR procedure done, even if there's only 1 or 2 sperm, instead of the usual hundreds of millions of sperm, you can still take that 1 sperm and place it directly into the egg.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
Next, the embryos are placed in the best environment possible to grow successfully. Enter the ART pipetting robot for the IVF laboratory, April for short.
The embryos grow on these specialized plastic dishes, and rather than making that environment by hand, where there is a natural variability, we're using robots which allow us to prepare the plates to be absolutely ideal. Well, what we learned when we first introduced the robot was that it was incredibly good at placing the droplets where the embryos grow, far beyond what any human could do. But when it came to the overlay of mineral oils that goes over them, the human was actually better at placing it. So we learned from that. And so the new version that we have the robot doing what it's great at, placing the droplets, and we have a human who overlays it with mineral oil.
As well as making the IVF process more efficient, it's also hoped that these technologies can bring down the cost, which can run into tens of thousands.
I think what's even much more important than that is by increasing success rates, it's easier for a patient to have that child. So I think there's a great reason to be optimistic and hopeful for our field.
Meanwhile, in this Harvard robotics lab, they're working up ways to live life in the fast lane.
I know how unsafe I am on a bicycle or electric scooter, so I'm hoping that I may have found an alternative here, another way to get around quickly.
This is a hip exoskeleton, and it uses AI to understand an individual's hip movements, creating a personalised mode of transport.
We apply torque on the hip, so can you fasten this by yourself?
This is obviously at prototype stage because there's lots of wires and things.
That's right.
So I guess it will be turned into something waterproof. OK, you definitely wouldn't want to try and wear this through an airport, would you? I'm actually feeling really comfortable here. What is this? The emergency red button if I need to stop?
Yeah.
OK, so if I feel like I'm going too fast, press the red button.
Yes, that's right.
Before it's turned on, I'm going to have a little walk to see what it feels like. The weight is quite evenly spread throughout my body, so I don't feel like I'm carrying a load of weight. And it feels all right. I'm kind of getting used to it. But I'd really like to go a bit faster. I can't keep up with myself. Keep up, Yasmin. And stop. Much like other exoskeletons that I've tried, when you first get moving, it kind of makes you jump, but you get used to it really quickly. There's these weird kind of twinges that I feel from it, but it's certainly forcing my muscles to do their job, and it made me go faster. Would I want to travel around town like this? Well, maybe eventually, once it's more compact and it could fit underneath clothes, it could become a concealed method of travel. I just looked like I was walking very, very fast. To wear something under your clothes, it's got to be pretty compact. How are you doing in terms of miniaturising something that could actually do that?
Our lab doesn't focus on that aspect, but I think there's some groups that have been, and using soft textiles where you can integrate textiles and motors into more typical clothing.
Oh, I'm in a real hurry. I don't know where I'm going. I'm going round in circles.
I think you'll see, robotic boots that help give you an extra push in your step. You'll see hip exoskeletons that you can wear under your clothes. There's some commercial devices now that are coming out for hiking.
With the ability to personalise how it assists the hip joints, it could prove really beneficial for those with mobility disorders.
We've looked at assisting a wide range of movements, so everything from, walking over ground, different speeds, up and down stairs, up and down ramps. And so there's different ways, especially using sort of data-driven methods, to capture all of your movement and really assist you in a meaningful and helpful way.
And this is where the AI catching up with the robotics is finally able to help.
Yes, so everybody's quite different. You and I have a different musculoskeletal system, and so we need a different assistance. We use AI in this to understand movement and make predictions about what people are doing. And I would say that personalization aspect has effectively doubled the performance in these devices.
You're going to have to run.
There's many benefits outside of just being physically capable, right? You can be more social, you can do the things you want to do, be more independent, and that's, sort of what we're really excited about.
It's great if you're in a hurry.
It's not just about technology powering our bodies from the outside either. There are also brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. These are small devices embedded in a wearer's brain that allow them to communicate directly with a smartphone or any other type of computer through thought alone. At 22, Noland Arbor's life dramatically changed when he was paralysed from the shoulders down in a swimming accident.
You just have sort of no control, no privacy, and it's hard. And you just have to learn that you have to rely on other people for everything.
7 years later, some independence was set to come his way. In January 2024, he became the first patient to have a BCI from Elon Musk's company Neuralink implanted. The device was embedded beneath his skull by a surgical robot.
I knew that if everything worked out, then I could help being a participant of Neuralink. If something terrible had happened, I knew that they would learn from it.
How was it the first time when you actually tried to do something?
I just imagined the sensation or what it might look like to wiggle my fingers, something along those lines, and I could get the cursor to move. And then it all sort of sunk in that this was a very, very sci-fi technology, but it was real. Now I could actually control my computer with just my thoughts, and I was giddy for the whole day. You see the cursor moving around the screen? That's all me, y'all. It's pretty cool, huh?
And several companies are hoping to transform patients' lives this way.